All right, we're live.
Are you using the output audio of your board?
No. I didn't want to do that. They can hear it fine because I don't want them to hear the podcast. I want them to listen to it after it's finished. You know what I'm saying? They can hear us on the podcast. They can't really hear unless I turn the speakers on is the clips. You know what I'm saying? But Ron Goss and Jeff is looking. Bucky's looking. Okay.
Get down, son.
What are you doing, Chance? My God.
All right, sorry, we're ready.
We are live. Say hi to everybody. We got people listening.
Hey! We're just having a little pizza podcast party, podblast party, I should say, courtesy of Pizza Hut. How's everybody doing? Anybody watching?
Yeah. Let's see. Ron Goss, Jeff Womack, Bucky Smith.
Ron Goss, I met him on a movie set.
And Evan's listening, watching.
Evan!
What's
From
happening,
Cumulus
man?
Media.
Yeah.
Rock 100.5 in Atlanta. All right, we ready to roll?
All right, so listen up.
Yep.
We'll start with the jingle. What?
Evan, this is my little home studio. It works pretty good. What?
You ready?
Yeah.
We're going to start with the jingle clip. We're going to pull it right before the scream because we're going to scream. And then once we all scream, you are going to say, hey guys, guess what time it is? And we'll say, what's time for the podcast? Oh my God. Then you hit the music.
Yeah, okay.
Shall
What
we rehearse it?
Yeah, I want to check your mic. Anyway.
What music? Is it the Dark Shadows theme music?
No,
Or
it's the
oh, the theme,
podcast.
yeah, which you'll put in post. Okay.
Yeah, we'll use that maybe later.
And then no, after the theme, then in post, then you'll put in after the post. I mean, after the damn theme,
Right.
put in Dark Shadows live while we're here. After he does all Tom's stuff, then play the Dark Shadows theme for a bit.
But why can't you hit the theme live? You know, have it queued up or something?
Yeah, that would be better.
Oh, I can do that.
This should have a tape.
It's flimsy though. Like I was bearing down, I'm left-handed trying to write, and the thing almost flipped over.
All right, now I want to I'm going to record your levels here real quick.
All right.
All right, 1, 2, 3,
Check,
4.
check, 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 check.
Let me turn it on. All right, Tom.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, 1, 2, 3. I still wish I had more volume in my ear. I'm so low.
Yeah, I mean, that's stuff I can do it because
Well, yeah, you could have gone half the time. That's okay.
I got one. I got an amp I can hook up to it. Show me how to do it, and I'll do it. I can sit right down here. It's a little solid state amp. It's kind of cool.
Pepsi Cola.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Pizza Hut and Pepsi Cola.
And you're not my favorite piece.
Like he's real loud in my ear, and I'm not really involved in my ear. Let me do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That's.
But look, it sounds really good.
Yeah.
All right, so many people watching. They can't even hear us.
They can hear us. They can hear us. There's a bunch of people watching.
So we're gonna hit this. Let's go. You want to rehearse this, or we can just go?
Yeah, let's
Rehearse it. All right.
Screw this. Let's go.
You got the theme, the power station theme, ready to go too, that you do in post production.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to rehearse. We'll just do it. Once again, we're going to play the single for it. And it only lasts about 15, 20 seconds top. Just have to start the podcast. Then as soon as he says the only way to keep the thing from hurting is to scream, you'll pull the arm. I'll just do this.
That means
And one of the mics are hot the whole time. No. We all start screaming.
Right.
And as soon as we finish screaming, I'll point to you and you go, hey, guys, hey, wait, this isn't a tango, wait, you know what time it is? And we'll say, what time is it? I don't know, what time is it? And you say, it's time for the podcast, and you hit the theme music.
Okay. All right.
And then Dark Shadows after the theme.
Okay?
Like in post production. Well, I
No,
mean,
do it live. Do it live.
hang on a second. Let me find the
This will save you time, man. That means you can slap it together tonight.
Unless you want to watch this movie, the 13th.
Unless you want to watch Megan from Walking Dead with his Lucille bath. Captain America. I know the artist Mark Bright is who drew it. He's a local comic artist. Yeah. And it's a conversion of Avengers, the cover to Avengers issue 4, first Captain America story. It came out of the ice, Marvel comic book.
Now, see, if Al had gotten the light, like I said, we didn't actually be able to see us.
Yeah, I'm in the dark over here.
I got a light deer in the middle over there.
Turn it on!
That's okay. That's okay.
It doesn't matter. We got a show to do.
All right, ready? Hang on a second. Are you ready?
All right, so this clip
Hot mics.
screams. You say, hey guys, what time?
How long is this clip?
Maybe 20 seconds.
Okay.
All right, let me know you record it.
We're rolling.
All right, let's do it again because you didn't have that very long.
Hang on a second.
You want another audio level?
No, no, I got it. Hang on a second. Good. All right, stay. Oh. All right, we're rolling.
That's your chance. Ooh. All right, let's do it again because you messed it up. Let's do it again because you messed it up. Stop.
What did I do?
Stop. Stop. Stop.
All right.
Stop. You
That was
didn't
good. What was wrong?
You didn't listen.
What?
As soon as we stopped screaming, you just went, hey, guys, calm
What
down.
time is it?
Calm down.
Well, I was going to say it over the music.
That was just
No,
no.
Yeah, and then hit the music. I agree. Tom
All right,
Fryer.
so guys, let's-
One more time.
All right, take two.
I said, guys, calm down. That was just William Castle.
We never make
I
it
know.
live radio.
Yeah, we were.
All right. All right, stand. All right, you ready?
He's got it back up to the clip. Hold on.
Not
You
yet.
got it?
No, this is a Columbia Pictures.
We're doing a show on Halloween horror movies. All right. Are you ready?
Oh.
Stand by.
Who's this? Oh,
No, really.
that's what it is. Definitely. Just like a 5 minutes.
Or farting.
Oh, yeah. You farting? No, no.
Shut up.
Remember.
Hey, fellas, guess what time it is?
Well,
scared already.
I'm frightened as crap. Dude,
Good
that guy was.
God. The
that guy was-
Tinkler's in the room somewhere.
I know. You know what? The chance either the tinkler's under your chair, or that's the biggest damn cockroach I've ever seen in my life.
What?
Well, you're
That's
supposed
one
to
of my fears.
Ah!
I hate roaches.
You know, the funny thing.
I'm not afraid of snakes. I'm not afraid of spiders, but I hate roaches.
Well, yeah, roaches are.
Give me the damn creeps.
Such a crunch.
Oh, I ever eaten this
And the
crunchy, thin and crispy pizza
chances
with
you-
black olives on it? It looks like friggin' roaches.
That's right.
That's right. Ooh,
It's a bug pizza you had today.
it's
Yeah.
a bug drop pizza. That's
Bug
what
drop pizza.
Hey, you got some spooky music out?
Spooky music.
Oh,
Like dark, something dark?
No.
Like
Ooh.
this?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Barnabas Collins.
Set the mood, Al. Set the mood.
Go ahead, Al. Set the mood. See if you can do that. Set it, Al. Scary stuff. So that's from Chance. What was that from?
Dark Shadows, which was like a soap opera from 1966, I think it was, black and white, but it was about vampires.
No.
It came on every afternoon on ABC, and I watched it every day when I got home from school. It came on at 4 o'clock.
I wasn't around then, and it wasn't really syndicated, so I have never really seen it.
Wait. You've never seen it? Seriously?
I've seen like maybe 2 episodes on YouTube.
Yeah, because they started in black and white and went to color.
Right.
And it's all shot on video, just like soap opera. But it's exactly like a soap opera, except it's creepy.
And like those unfortunate Twilight Zone episodes they did on videotape in season 2, but that's another
Yeah, that's it.
for another day, another pod blast.
Yeah.
I love Dark Shadow.
Well, you know, Barnabas Collins made the show, I think, personally.
And they had a movie.
Well,
You know, called House of Dark Shadows, I believe.
but that was after, wasn't that?
After the
Well, Johnny Depp, right?
No.
Barnabas Collins, Jonathan Fred was in the movie too.
Yes. Yes, it was a movie adaptation
After the TV series went off.
Kind of like when Batman went off, or was supposed to make out the Batman movie. Same with the Munsters. They did the same thing. The Munsters had already wrapped. They did a movie, Let's Go Home. You know, the same, just some freaking studios trying to make a movie. Not necessarily the best scripts in the world,
Okay.
but that's what they did with Dark Shadows. I don't even remember seeing the movie. Al, do you remember anything about it? I don't remember anything about that. Because I didn't.
House of Dark
Yeah, I
Shadows.
just don't remember.
I have a nice one sheet for that.
And guess what, folks? It's probably for sale this week only.
I need to sell it. I
Yeah,
need to raise some
yeah,
cash.
you should. But you know, we didn't. You know, this Chance brought up last week when we concluded the podcast. We didn't even touch on the schlock movies, the William Castle stuff. Who opened our show?
Hammer Horror.
Hammer Horror, and that was from the Tingler in 1956, and Vincent Price was in it. And it was a great campy movie. They would wire the chairs and some chairs in the theaters with the electrodes and really loud shock, and it was pretty funny. The ladies loved it. Because I remember it. I remember seeing the headlines. Well, let me rephrase that. Famous Monsters of Film magazine talking about it and stuff like that. Obviously, in '56, I was just a little tight, so obviously I didn't get to the movies when it first came out. Al, you're old enough to remember that. Al, going to the movie theater and seeing it, didn't you?
I was a kid. I got pizza in my mouth. No, I do remember it.
Yeah, well, that's anyway. It was quite the movie, and William Castle was the king of schlock as far as these amazing little intros. I guess he got that's all I can say. But he was a master. I hear you eating. Can you please clear your mouth?
I'm not
That's
eating.
me.
I hear you
That's me.
smacking
That's my
your
bad.
lips.
Well, you were eating, last week you were eating milk duds.
No, that was like 2 weeks.
2 weeks ago, where are you eating milk duds?
But anyway, that was milk duds, that's a little different. But William Castle was a great kid. The room just turned out really quiet. We might get something there. I'm telling you, see what's up.
I need to change microphones.
Well, you probably do. But anyway, that's irrelevant. But Castle was amazing for his on-screen persona as far as being able to deliver the shock. But people ate it up back then, man. They ate it up. Now, did you ever see any more William Castle film? Did you ever see the Tango Champs?
I did.
You did see it?
Yes.
What did you think of it?
Well, I thought it was.
Well, you don't like cockroaches, so
No, I thought it was okay.
Well, did you get through
the
it? Did
spooks?
you get through it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's cheesy. It's a cheesy
Well,
movie.
yeah, but sometimes the cheesy movies
They're like B movies.
are fun to watch. All the sci-fi movies
Absolutely.
that came out, all the so-called drive-in movies that came out, not necessarily monster or sci-fi, but even the dramas and the crap that they have, the cheesy love stories, and the teenage movies, and all that sort of stuff. They even had Vincent Price was known to do a few of these movies. So I mean, here's one movie which you might not have seen. So you ready for this?
Ready, Freddy.
Here it comes. That's right. You heard it right.
And the Bikini Machine?
Yeah. It's a Vincent Price vehicle. So anyway,
I saw that.
so you've ever seen it?
International.
American International. Now, American International was famous for taking movies like this. This movie also had Frank Avalon in it, for crying out loud. And all the teenagers would go to the theaters and see these types of movies, along with the cello movies and those type of things. So, but Dr. Goldfoot and his Bikini Machine, it's out there, and it's in scope. It's American International, because they were like the kings of, just like Castle was a king of presentation as far as the king of shark. But American International put us some real crap. Well, it wasn't crap, it was fun. They had so many titles in their catalog of stuff that it wasn't even fun. But this was just one of them. And it was he managed to get Vincent Price. You know? You don't remember that?
I do.
You do remember?
Well, I worked at Channel 17, Turner Network. We had that in our library, along with the other ARP pictures, like, what was the one with Vincent Price that had the pendulum? The pit and the pendulum.
The Pit and the Pendulum. Yeah, that was another one. So, they did the Edgar Allan Poe stuff back then.
Obviously, we're continuing on with horror, and we're going to get on into the next level of horror movies, but we're still talking about monster movies and other stuff that you may or may not have seen in the past. But we do have some corrections to make. I got some listener feedback I
Also,
want to share
that
with you
means
both.
it's only time for one thing, right?
It
Is
is.
it coming?
It's time for.
I just pause it.
I just
Pick up
paused
the
it.
cord.
I thought I pulled it up. Hang on. All right. Oh, shut up. I gotta hear something else.
You won't have to do much post production. I mean, we've already got.
I
theme.
like doing it live. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you can stop it, but I'm saying we might be able to drop this tonight, like we did last time. There's not much for him to do. I like how we have all the clips ready and everything.
Oh yeah, I like it better.
Is it your folder?
Oh, there it is, right there.
All right, so how are we going to pick this up? Can you back it up where he said, you know what time it is, and then it's time for.
And that's where it needs to be.
No, here's the playback.
I was trying to give you time before
I know. I thought I had it.
stalling.
All
Boom.
right, then I hit it. Hang on a second.
Nice snap. I can't snap my finger.
All right, stand by. Too loud.
Ooh.
That's right, Correction Corner. And Jeff Logan wrote to us saying, the Correction Corner should be at the end of the show, not at the beginning. I was talking to my wife about this, and you reference past programs and podblasts, and some of the topics are things I'm not interested in, so I'm lost. I don't know what you're talking about because I may not have heard that particular show. Would you consider having the Correction Corner segment at the end of the podblast?
Well,
So I'm going to put it to a vote. What do you guys think? I like it where it is, but that's just me.
No, I get what you're saying. But
We can try it on the end and
if
see
we,
how it works.
no, we just can't let one person
Well,
dictate, or it will sound like Nancy Pelosi or somebody.
We-
Oh, don't say that out loud. I'm sorry.
Look, we want to have universal topics, so that's why we encourage you to write in, let us know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, and what you want us to cover. Because between the three of us, we've got a lot of knowledge, I think, about subjects that are of interest.
And we also have an abundance of mistakes.
During the podcast, we correct ourselves.
An abundance of mistakes. And if you hear us making mistakes, please point them out because we're not perfect. We don't know everything. We get together, we just have a blast. That's why we call it Pod Blast. Because we're just having fun. That's all there is to it. And as time goes on, it'll get better, especially with your write-ins and except for later on, we're going to have people calling in, all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah, we do live. That's correct. And remember, our Facebook group is Nostalgic Podblast on Facebook, and we're on Twitter as well. And we just started that about a week ago, and we've already gotten a lot of people joining, like Evan, who's watching on Facebook Live right now as you record this Podblast, and we're grateful for each and every one of you. Good. Hey, what's that, man? Look at him.
Facebook, look at that. I can't see. Yeah. But anyway, listen, American International Picture. Oh, I'm sorry. I interrupted you, Chance. I'm going to shut up.
No, I'm done.
Did you do the correction corner?
Did you do any corrections?
No. We actually didn't have any. The only correction was to correct and put the correction corner at the end of the podcast. It was just a suggestion. That's it.
Here's why there hasn't been any response from you. Because we're recording this. It's my fault. We're recording this on a Thursday, whereas normally we do it on Sunday. So we're like 3 or 4 days early because I got to go to an event in Chattanooga over the weekend, and I just can't leave. And so the guys got to go. So let's just do one early, and that's what we're doing. So we haven't had a chance to check the emails and so.
And next Sunday on the 13th, I have an issue. Not this coming Sunday, but the Sunday after. It's Atlanta Comic Convention that I mentioned at the end of our last podcast, and I'll be going to that. And then my friend wants to see The Joker that night at the cinema. So we'll figure it out. We'll have to get together maybe on another Thursday night, just that one time, and then we'll get back to our Sunday night.
I remember you dressed up. They want you to dress up at all. Well, so I don't know what you're going to do.
Well, I looked at him wearing a mask.
That's what I'm saying.
We're usually dressed up as clowns.
Well,
and the Mexicans, yeah.
What about your Libre mask?
Yes. Right. Because we're a bunch of clowns. We took them off.
But underneath that is clown makeup. And so we're going to have to, pull back with a grease paint. And because Al went to Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Clown College.
I did.
He's a graduate. And he went there with Finn Gillette. And Al was a great juggler, just like Finn Gillette. And if you believe that, I got a little
and Teller.
Sell it.
Hey, by the way, we saw that movie, speaking of P.T. Barnum, The Greatest Showman. It's kind of a musical, but it wasn't bad. I liked it with Hugh Jackman and Phillips.
Really
anyway, we're all over. Yeah, we need to get back up to the horror. We need to get back to the terror.
So as we were saying, American, William Castle is one thing, but American International Pictures, that's James H. Nicholson, and he was a former sales manager at Real Art Pictures Incorporated. Now, Real Art did a lot of redistribution of Frankenstein. If you look, I'll tell you what, if you look at some of the, I want to call them reproduction posters, but let's call them reissue. Reissue out, what's the other word for them? Reissue something else. Anyway.
Re-release?
Re-release. But if you look at the bottom.
Fake posters.
Yeah, well, no, they're not fake. If you look at the bottom of the poster, you always see it says Real Art. Or sometimes they'll redo the poster a little bit, it says Real Art Pictures. But anyway, that's who he was. And Samuel Z. Arkoff. He was an entertainment we weren't your favorite. We didn't want to even go there. So I apologize. If there are any lawyers listening, I just have sorry. But anyway, they were dedicated to releasing low budget films. And they also did it as a bunch of double features, especially the drive-ins and picture shows and stuff like that. And primary interest was teenagers. That's who they were really calling here.
There's a moth in this room on the wall above that painting.
Anyway, they basically
Mark on the wall.
That's not a moth. You may tell you what it is.
No, it's a horsefly.
It's a stink bug.
You know what?
Can I mash this?
No, you don't mash them because that's when they stink.
Oh, I know that.
You know that, right?
It came in when Tom came in. You know,
And just what?
he
What are you implying,
he
sir?
was on Tom's back when we.
Oh yeah, right.
That's the only way that stink bug got in
Oh,
here.
I think it's from my pizza.
I don't know.
Oh yeah,
It's not a black olive. This thing's loaded with stink bugs.
Swear the teenagers.
I guess pizza Hut won't sponsor us now.
I'm trying to stay on top of
All right,
it. You
sorry.
guys are talking
All right.
about stupid bugs.
Well, he brought the bug up.
No, he didn't bring it up. So anyway, the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s, and so they just released it to the theaters, and the first release was The Fast and the Furious in 1955, and that wasn't even a horror movie. Listen to the title, The Fast and the Furious.
That sounds familiar.
Does that sound familiar?
It sounds like it could be a franchise. That's catchy.
It does. It does.
Someone ought to make a movie series these days called Fast and the Furious.
Well, sure. Somebody should do that. But maybe they'll do it. They released things like Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven, with Vincent Price.
Big fan. I'm a big fan of Edgar Allan Poe. Right.
And they called it the macabre masterpiece of terror, which scares the pieces. They worked with cheesy miniatures. They did everything they could to get their movies out there on the cheap as much as possible. Roger Corman.
That's what I was about to. We're on the same wavelength.
Yes,
Sorry.
yeah,
Roger
Roger
Corman.
Corman and Alex Gordon were the principal film producers. And sometimes Charles B. Griffin wrote many of the films that came out early. And of course, Arkoff's brother, who later was one of the films. Anyway, they had a whole stable of cheap people. Well, it's called cheap people, trying to get stuff done as cheaply as humanly possible. And they had a number of actors. Sadly, this is called the actors. Some people might call it admin actors.
Oh, that's not nice.
John Ashley, Faye Spain, and Steve Terrell. Okay, how many of you heard about that? Let's see, show of hands. And no one raises their hand. So,
Al did.
well, of course, Al does because Al's old. But that's beside the point. Well, that's just interesting. But the AIP, they were actually, here's the interesting thing about the American Revolution. They were the first film company to use focus groups. Can you believe that? They polled American teenagers about what they'd like to see, and they even used a lot of their responses to determine the titles, stars.
That's interesting.
People.
So that's why, in large part, why you have a shooting title and then it'll get renamed for the release.
Well, they have working titles in all movies, but yeah.
There was another movie. It was called The Wettest County in the World. It was about prohibition, and they renamed it Lawless. All-star cast, great movie. I had a little bit part, tarring and feathering a bootlegger we watched.
Yeah.
But Jessica Chastain's in it, Tom Hardy, big names. Anyway, Shia LaBeouf.
I cannot talk. I talk like Professor Morton. AIP would question the observatories. Now, sorry, Sharon. And the exhibitors would pony up to 20% financing for some of the movies. So, what do you think about that? I mean, it's just, wow. That was a good one. That was a good one. I'm sure our listeners appreciate that. Especially if they were listening.
I'm kidding. No disrespect. I'm learning a lot. Please keep going.
Well, I don't know that I want to. If you're going to be burping like that. But they called it, and I'm getting this from some publications and stuff. I'm not quoting something. They used to call it the Arkoff formula. Okay, so it's the tried and true Arkoff formula for producing successful low-budget movies in later years, and they also did a 1980s talk show, which is crazy.
1980s talk show.
Yeah, that's what it says here. Let's cut right there.
Cut.
Let's back that up, take that out because I said it wrong.
But keep my burp in.
Tom screwed up. We gotta stop.
Keep my burp and isolate it after you put it together. That'd be good to have.
Back up about 30 seconds, I'll tell you.
Hang on.
Boom.
Stop
The
there.
Arkoff formula.
Wait a minute. Hang on. Right here.
Well, I said the Arkoff formula.
I've got formula. You just
All right, I'll cut it there.
But
Yeah, I'll
wait,
shut
I'm not
that
ready yet, so don't start recording.
and let me know when I can start talking about Psycho. You just cue me,
No.
because I like how he's
But
bringing.
I thought-
He's covered things we forgot.
But
to
don't
mention
we
last
want to finish some of the
Yeah.
Universal stuff like the Wolfman and
Yeah,
You
did
have
we
any of that
did we
stuff?
cover that
we
enough?
covered the Wolfman? Well, we talked about
We did.
what
I thought I listened to it. We did talk
We didn't
about.
cover the creature.
We talked. We did talk about. We
talked about a little bit.
Revenge of the Creature in 3D.
Do
We
you want
touched
to
on
use,
it.
do you want to use any of those clips?
I don't have any of those clips.
I thought you did.
Don't worry about it.
I mean, I can pull them. I just don't have them.
Shit, I moved my mic.
How many people are watching this? They're commenting?
Yes, they are.
Ah,
Jim Arcos is on.
hey, Jim Arcos.
Yeah.
We see you.
Ta-da!
It's our old friend Jim.
How can you see it?
Well, he just logged in.
He's a good friend.
Hey,
of ours.
Jim!
We did the All Four Seasons home show in 106.7 with him. He was one of the hosts. With Dan Watkins, the sponsor. Yeah. Good times, right out?
Hey, Jim, you'll have to come be on the show. How about
Yeah.
that?
Come on down to the studio in Lilburn.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Now you can't hear some of the clips, but you have to go to the podcast to listen to all of
Yeah, afterwards, check it out. We'll probably post it tonight or tomorrow,
Yeah.
depending on what Al gets done. But we're doing most of the post. Right?
You're going to count me into it or something? Or are you going to
it. Yeah, you ready?
Yeah.
Anytime.
Anytime. And well,
All right, for producing a successful movie, which included, well, low budget, I should say, because low budget movies are going to be successful somewhat if the distribution is good. Of course, all the drive-ins that were popular back then, the low budget movie houses, which were slowly going away because of television. But anyway, his formula included action, a revolution, which featured controversial themes or ideas, killing, oratory, which is notable dialogue, art, speeches, fantasy, act out fantasies, common to the audience. Remember I talked about the polls that the teenagers do. And
Are you talking about Triple X fan? What the hell are you talking about, sir?
what are you talking about?
I'm
Triple X
joking.
for?
All right, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He said fantasies.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
and then the last is fornication.
See?
Which
What?
wait, fornication, which is sex appeal for young adults.
See?
See?
Mr. Engineer Al Hardy.
See? So that's exactly what it's called. And
It's art.
Yeah.
Art. It is art.
Well, that's the way it was. But later on, the AIP publicity department devised a strategy called Peter Pan syndrome.
Peter.
Yes, Peter Pan syndrome, which is basically a younger child will watch anything an older child will watch. Isn't that true? Think about the babysitters and stuff like that. They watch and stuff.
My inner child and I are one and the same, actually.
Right. Well, yeah. A girl will watch anything a boy will watch. That's another thing. A boy will not watch anything a girl will watch. Therefore, to catch your greatest audience, you zero in on the 19-year-old male. That was their MO. That's how they made these somewhat successful motion pictures. Now, that didn't make them good movies. I mean, how many AIP movies have you ever seen that were, I'll watch that again? Probably not too many.
Well, I have a question for you. What's your opinion on these focus groups? Do you think it ruined art or enhanced it?
I personally think it ruined it.
It's corporate, right? It's corporate interference, studio interference.
It ruins radio.
Yeah, I think it does because I'll give you a quick example. Even in our work, we did 6 pilots to a show back in 2010, and the reason we did 6 pilots because it kept throwing us focus.
That's excessive, man.
We didn't like this because you do this, and we redid it, and we did it.
It's a waste of
And we
money.
showed it to another folks do it, and they said, "No, we like this." Like that's what I'm saying. It becomes maniacal after a while. You know what? Listen, if someone's going to like something, they're going to listen to it. If they don't like it, guess what? They're going to turn it off. Just like this podcast. There's going to be some shows where people go, "I don't listen to this because this does not interest me."
Correct.
That's why we try to make each podcast a little bit of everything, which is why it's called a pod
Blast! That's right.
because that way we may stray away from the initial intent of our subject matter that evening. But we will come back around full circle.
Yes.
Okay.
Like we talked about pinball, but like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to do a pinball show. We're going to do all kinds of stuff. As a matter of fact, I got a big surprise for you guys. I haven't even told you about it yet, but I'm not going to say anything.
You bought us a pinball machine.
No. But when we do the Lost in Space stuff,
And they're coming in November, yeah.
I got a big surprise. That's all I can say.
Lost in Space. That's Chance's favorite.
All I can
That's
say.
Chance's favorite show.
Yeah.
No one of them.
Well, yeah. It's one of the best.
It's a
shows.
camp. It's my favorite camp show. I
Well,
guess.
sure,
Yeah.
sure. But Roger Corman was big. He was a big member, important member of AIP. Even though he also worked for Allied Artists and his own film group company during the same period. But see, people back then, there wasn't so much the contract players and stuff still going around in the late 50s or 60s. I mean, there was some, but not like it was in the 30s and 40s. Okay, so people had to go independent, and so it's just the way it was in the 50s. I mean, films like Rock All Night, Naked Paradise, The Undead, Sorority Girl, The Saga.
Never saw it.
Wait, here's one. The Saga of the Viking Woman and their voyage to the waters of the Great Sea Serpent. Come on. What kind of title is that? You know what I'm saying? 1957.
It probably made its money back.
Yeah, well, but you probably remember Machine Gun Kelly with Charles Bronson.
Yeah, I did see
So
that.
that was, here's one I knew you were, right? You might have posted for Teenage Kate. No, you didn't. I just kidding.
Guys,
But that had Teenage Kid. That had Robert Vaughn in it.
The man
The
from
Man from
Uncle.
Song.
The man from
Yeah.
Uncle.
Kids. You know what I'm
and he,
saying?
and he did, well, no one will know what I'm talking about, so I won't even go there.
Why not?
No.
Okay.
But Robert L. Kahn, which was a great director back then, he produces all those movies. He did The She Creature, which is a great B horror movie. You ever seen that? The She Creature.
No.
Really? You want
No.
to get a clip from it?
Okay.
Here it comes.
Okay. We have to stop, folks. We're going to add something again. We've gone 25 minutes and 10 seconds.
That's not long at all. I was hoping it was 45 minutes in.
How long have we gone?
25 minutes.
25 minutes. Seems longer.
Seems
Well, we got a lot of clips, so we'll cover the time.
How do you want to go through the clips? And we got
Well, he's
The
gonna.
Exorcist, Halloween,
Well, no,
Friday
no.
the 13th, Psycho.
I'm gonna give you cues so you'll know what to get ready. But I'm letting Tom do his bit.
Okay,
Get us
okay.
up to 1960 Psycho, and then
Okay.
we'll talk about some of the more modern horror movies, Exorcist. And so, but again, I'll tease it to give you a cue of what to be looking for.
Track this up for me.
You ready?
Wait.
I like the music, man.
You ready?
No,
No, he's still getting the clip.
Come to it.
Stand by. And
No, off.
go.
Oh!
That was us screaming. No, off something.
That She Creature.
Going into a massive murdering monster is what it says.
Oh!
Look at these people.
It's serious, too.
I love the echo truck they got into it. I just got the She Creature. Oh, that's great. Folks, you gotta look up this trailer.
On YouTube.
I'm scared. I'm scared.
Good scream.
All right.
The she creature.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah,
Look it up on YouTube.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's unnerving. Now here's the funny
That's
part.
schlock.
Now here's the funny part. It was pure schlock. Al, you got to pull the computer.
Okay.
You forgot.
Let it roll. Don't stop.
That's a commercial. We don't want to hear it.
No,
Okay.
unless they're paying
All right,
us.
no commercials.
Okay. Anyway,
I'm a public
I
scout.
went to Dragon Con, not last year, but the year before, and there was a guy there selling horror stuff. Excuse me. And I bought a beautiful model of a she creature. It's on my mantle.
Well, you should have
I
brought it.
should have bought it. But it never would have gotten broken, and you said, well, I'll fix it. I'll never see it.
I've never heard of a she creature. I've heard of a she male,
Yeah.
but never a she creature.
But you know what? Here's the funny thing about the schlocky movies. The majority of them, Hideous Sun Demon, the list goes on and on. They had some of them had great looking monsters. I mean, just fantastic looking monsters. Awesome.
Right.
The she creature, if you look at it, if you look up the image on Google, the she creature, we'll put a picture up on the podcast. Looks amazing. It's an amazing looking monster. Picture the creature from the Black Lagoon, excuse me, and just add to that like 100-fold. 100-fold, just add the
Text me a picture. I'll post on the Facebook page.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I will do that. But it's
Nostalgic Podblast on Facebook.
so that's right. It's all you gotta do. And we'll put up some of these pictures. We will even put a side-by-side picture of the she creature and Al Hardy, and you can do the comparison yourself.
Oh, please do. Please do. I want to see what I look like compared to the she.
You will be amazed at how much Al looks like.
A she creature?
It's amazing. It's amazing. But anyway,
Especially when his mouth's open.
yeah. But all these movies lead up. Now here's the thing: back in the 50s and 60s, there was a schlock movies, and like I said, American Airlines, even Columbia Pictures, they did the Tingler, they did the Wayne Castle stuff. They were the schlock film companies of those movies. But there was also some legit movies from Universal, some other major companies, which brought in Hitchcock.
Yes,
Stuff like that.
Psycho. Hey, I want to ask you, these schlock movies make any money?
Yes,
They must have been pure profit. They were that low budget.
They were pure profit.
And it packed the theaters.
Yes, it did. Because again, remember the teenage poll group I talked about earlier?
Right, the focus
The
group.
teenagers would go see these movies because they got to take their dates somewhere.
Guys, how much did movies cost for admission back in those days? Don't tell me a quarter.
Well, back in the 60s,
50, late
it was
50,
a quarter,
well,
50 cents to 75 cents.
good lord.
Let's say no more than a buck.
I know adjusted for inflation, but still.
But see, here's the thing: that the teenage boys back then again didn't want to take their girlfriends to a regular movie to where the girl would scream and clutch at them and want to hold them and stuff. That's
Oh, yeah.
see? Remember what I said earlier?
It's the roller coaster factor. Yeah.
That's what drive-in theaters was.
Yeah. Cuddle
Oh,
up, baby.
yeah.
Yeah, the drive-in was for
Of
that.
course. Well, yeah. It was. But again, that's the deal. You go to the shocking movies, the girl goes, I don't want to do it. Well, let's make out. Or whatever. Or whatever.
And people would wear ties and suits to the theaters in those days. It was an event.
Yeah.
Wear a hat. That's
Yeah.
funny.
You know what ticket prices were when I was in high school?
That's what I'm curious
If
about.
you had a high school card,
Don't date yourself now.
no, I'm not. When you had a high school card, you could get to a movie, anytime for 15 cents.
That's amazing.
The regular ticket price was 75 cents.
Now, I remember that they had student rates like they
Yeah,
have
they were
senior
student
rates.
cards, yeah. And if you didn't have a student card, it was 75 cents.
I remember that. I used to show my college ID, and they quit doing that. Like the AMC's, the Regal Cinemas, and the like.
So
Yeah.
they don't do that at home for any students anymore. Really? That's
No, I don't know. I see senior rate and child rate and adult rate.
That's part of the film companies.
Well, they have senior citizens.
That's what I just said. Yeah. They still offer that, but
They
not
do
student. They don't have a student discount anymore. They used to take advantage of that all the time.
Well, exactly. And that's what they do. And that's exactly what they do. Now, you talk about the
Hitchcock. You mentioned Hitchcock.
Yeah,
Are we going there?
The legit movies. Hitchcock
Mhm.
did a lot of those. They weren't campy.
No.
But they were very suspenseful.
Vertigo?
Yeah. I mean,
Rear
amazing
Window?
titles.
North by Northwest, that was suspense more than
Yeah.
horror, but
And
I
as most-
love North by Northwest.
and as most-
Mark Landis.
Small
part.
As was
The
the last movie, I was a teenage werewolf.
Right, and we talked about that.
No,
last
he
time.
didn't do
No,
He did not.
I know that.
Michael
Tell,
Langdon.
tell us about Psycho a little bit.
Okay, yeah, Psycho, and I know Al's got a clip in a sec, but Universal released it. Of course, it was directed by Alfred Hitchcock, and Janet Leigh was in it, along with Anthony Perkins. And Anthony Perkins, I mean, most people know this, but in case you've never seen Psycho, you've got to check it out. In LA recently, they screened Psycho in a cemetery just last week. And I know that from watching Jimmy Fallon on NBC, the Tonight Show host. He was interviewing
they did that.
Natalie Portman, and she said she saw it, and they showed a photo of watching Psycho in the cemetery.
Well, here's a cool part, which you probably don't. They do that at Hollywood Forever Cemetery. They do it on the back wall of the mausoleum. And guess what's right up against the wall? Paramount Pictures. It's right there. You know, Paramount Pictures along the back wall
Right.
of Hollywood Forever Cemetery. And they run it on the side of the mausoleum. That's how they run the movies.
Oh, that's cool. How can we listen to a little bit of audio from Psycho, 1960?
She might have been a maniac. He killed our mice.
Now that music was by Bernard Herrmann, who also had done The Twilight Zone around that same time. In 1959, he did the first opening theme, which was a different theme than the anyway. Bernard Herrmann, as I said in the last Podblast, I think music really can make or break a horror movie.
Sure.
And Bernard Herrmann nailed it, as did Harry Mandrafrini. I never can pronounce his name in the Friday the 13th movies, the early ones. Anyway, so Psycho, big monster hit. Everyone went to see it. Big shock twist ending that we won't spoil here. Everyone knows the ending.
Yes. When the monster comes out. Because there's only Universal Lot, quite literally around the corner from the Monster Mansion.
I took that tour back in 2002 at the
Yeah.
Universal Lot, and it's all there. It's
It's all
great.
there.
I recommend everyone, if you're in California, to go to Universal Studios.
That's right. You'll see
Southern
Beaver Cleaver's
California.
house. You'll see Beaver Cleaver's house is on that street. Where they shot the Ghost of Mr. Chicken. It's fantastic. You still got the Psycho house up on the hill, which is very cool.
You're right.
Very, very cool.
And that brings us up to phase 2 of the horror movies. Now, we talked about the monster movies, and there's, we had like supernatural horror movies. We had,
I didn't care for some of those.
yeah, I mean, that what freaks me out personally are the movies that involve the devil, and God,
Well, you know what the biggest movie about the devil was, don't you?
have to be The Exorcist,
The Exorcist.
1973.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that movie scared the hell out of me. Linda Blair played the little girl who's possessed by the devil itself. And the voice of, I mentioned this previously, of the possessed Linda Blair was Mercedes McCambridge. And do you have any audio of The Exorcist or the music or something? Just let's enlighten people with this terrifying
Is your head going to spin
devil's
around, Paul?
cheeks. It might, you never know.
Just keep the pea soup to yourself.
I was trying to be creepy. I was trying to be creepy inside. Head spin.
He's killed my mic again. Okay. Well,
Keep it going.
Help me. Well, I don't know if anything. Oh, lovely.
It's just
Anyway. Yeah, all right. Okay. All right.
You know,
Okay.
you know the narrator on that trailer?
Okay.
It's the same narrator who did Joe.
All right.
That's
Okay.
right. That's right.
Did you like The Exorcist?
All right. Okay.
I hated it. That's just it freaked me out.
I didn't care for it especially.
Our good dear friend Tom Hudgens had a print of it.
Uncensored.
Yes, we're talking back then, and we
Mm-hmm.
watched
So where you got that from?
and we watched it, and he had a rep over for K guitars, which I'm still in business, but he had him over, and he had never seen it. He wanted to see it, and I got to see it one time. Because he was scared. He was genuinely scared. Never scared me. I thought it was upset. I thought it was kind of scary.
It's been parodied a lot.
Well, yeah,
It's like
yeah,
Zapped from 1982 is an R-rated like sex comedy. There was a funny. We watched that on film. Remember that? How Zapped, and they had that parody. They had, that was Tom Fuller's Mike making it creep intentionally to be spooky. But remember we watched Zapped and they had that parody of The Exorcist. Anyway, so you had The Exorcist. It was a tremendous success for Warner Brothers Pictures. Thank you for the clip. Go out and either stream it or buy it from Warner Brothers Home Video. And then in 1974, and this movie just celebrated its 45th anniversary, you had the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh,
Toby Hooper.
where's
Yeah.
that chainsaw? Where
In
that thing?
Smithsonian Institute. It was a $300,000 budget, and it yielded a tremendous, tremendous return on investment. It was a big success. Not my cup of tea, but I love horror movies. I'm not chicken. I'm not, blood doesn't scare me. That freak me out. Just the devil movies, like Exorcist, always do. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre, great movie. That brings us up to Al, 20th Century Fox's smash hit. Wait a second, what's this?
What are you doing?
Hey!
I'm throwing out my chainsaw.
All right!
Chance, you better run, bitch! Okay.
Nice.
Put that chainsaw away.
Hey man, I went down to Orlando and they have Universal Studios Orlando, and they have like all month long in October and leading at the end of September, they have Halloween horror nights, and people run around with chainsaws chasing you. I went in September 2016, scared the hell out of me, and they had a Walking Dead exhibit. They had Halloween 2 at the time. I don't know if that's still going on this year, but please, if you're in Orlando, go to Universal Studios. You will have a fantastic time. It's awesome.
It's all great until somebody falls and skins it.
The girl I went with, Samantha Livingston, at the time, she got really freaked out by those chainsaws, boy. And by the way, when she was the first movie she saw in the theater was The Exorcist.
You're touching stuff. She saw it as a
You're the
little girl.
sensitive one.
She saw it as a little girl.
Yeah, her parents took her to see it when she was like,
I
I
thought
think
it
she
was
was like
an
11 years
R-rated
old or
movie.
something.
Okay,
Well, see,
wow.
you could take kids to movies.
I don't know, it might have been a
parent.
re-screening or re-release. I don't know, but that was the first movie she saw in the theater. Can you believe that? When she was like 2 years old. She thought it was a comedy, she told me. Anyway.
Oh, come on. The Exorcist got so much publicity, we knew it was about, the devil and exorcism.
They had that gross scene. I won't go there, but I guess the cross, I'll just leave it at that. It's disgusting.
I don't think the Catholics.
No. But Texas
But
Chainsaw
it was the Catholics that
You
got
know,
rid of the devil.
well, you know that the statue, that backlit statue of Satan that's in the movie.
Ugh, creeps me out.
They now make that as a resident figure.
Oh, how nice. How lovely. Lovely, lovely.
But you know what, Al? You know what, Al? Listen,
What's that?
I wish to get back to Vincent Price. We haven't talked too much about Vince, my brother.
Remember, we're in the 1970s now. You got something in the 70s, or you want to go back?
We can digress a little bit.
Of course.
No. We've got
The Files.
Yes, we talked about that last time.
That was a bizarre movie. It was.
this is. I've got a clip here.
Okay.
Just take it.
We're pausing again, folks.
Anybody got to go to the bathroom?
I gotta go pee!
I'm going to.
Of course you gotta go pee.
I'm going to get rid of this garbage in this plate. I'm stuffed full of pizza.
Where are you going?
Hey, everybody, you still out there?
We're taking a break.
Sonny's tearing up this napkin so we clean it up.
Well, it's no
I liked how you're holding Sonny up to the camera back there.
Oh, yeah.
I saw that.
Hey, Sonny. Where did he go?
He's right here. I'll bring him back.
What?
He's here with me. Come on, let's go back.
Sonny.
How many people are watching? Are they tuned out?
No, let's see.
Give me a head count. 5, 4, 3.
I don't know, actually. I know there's Jeff and Bucky's watching. Jim DeArcos.
Good. Here, let me
Scott
go to the camera. Hold on.
Roberts.
Hang on.
Ron Kirk.
Hey, Jim DeArcos, what's happening? You still watching out there?
I guess. I don't know. His name was there. See?
Jim,
I don't know. He's not replying. Maybe
Any comments? No.
if anybody's out there, thank you for watching.
Yeah. We usually do this on Sunday.
Al's going to do a strip tease in a little bit.
Oh, no, I'm leaving.
Oh, you ready? Okay, let's go.
Where's Sonny?
He's right by you, man.
Freaking sunny.
Where's Sonny? I'll show you my dog. Come here, Sonny. We're taking a break. The podcast usually runs about an hour and a half. What?
We're going right back here. Here's Sonny right here.
Where's Sonny at?
He's right here. I just said he's coming in.
Where's Sonny?
He's right here by my feet.
Where's Sonny?
He's in the room.
Come here. Come here.
Why are you so worried about the dog?
I'm going to show. Here's Sonny. He's part of the show. He's my Cocker Spaniel. He's 6 years old. Say hi. Okay.
I'm glad you got to put the doctor. What the hell was that? What fell?
He unplugged my headphones.
No harm?
No. Good. That was my fault. They're doing that.
How long have we recorded once you get reconfigured there?
Let's see here.
One thing at a time.
Can you track this full so I can actually hear it?
Yeah. Hang on. Watch it turn it up.
No.
What are we listening for? Huh?
Hang on a second.
He's just doing the levels, right?
I hear it.
All right, hang on a second. Let me see if I can find one more little thing before we start. Don't mind.
I want to check the Brave score on my phone. That's why we're not seeing many viewers, because everyone's watching the Braves and MLB playoffs are going on right now.
We've gone 42 minutes and 10 seconds.
Good. That seems low. I figured it'd be at least an hour.
No.
Let's see. Braves score. The Braves have not won in the playoffs since 2001. Did you know? Oh, they're winning 3-2, top of the 8th. Good. It'll be over by the time I have to go home. All that traffic.
We're waiting for Tom to find the clip on his computer.
Go Braves! Go Braves!
So fade it. Make sure you fade into it. Don't just.
Well,
You ready?
I can fade it up. Let me know when you want
That's on
to.
me. That's on me. As soon as you're recording, point to me and I'll hit play.
Okay.
But you gotta fade it
I'll
up,
fade it up.
or you can just count me into it.
Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh, 9. You tell them this. Joseph Cotton.
Oh!
So anyway, the trailer goes on and on, but that's just a little teeny tiny taste of amazing.
Speaking of taste and tiny,
Vincent,
you know who would have been a good sponsor or a good product placement tie-in for that film? Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper. Yeah, Dr. Fives, Dr. Pepper. I don't know.
Yeah, but then they would have been associated with all these writers that he did. And then they did several other movies because that one, as schlocky as it was,
That trailer looked cool.
well, the trailer, well, that's what trailer is. Is to make things cool. But as often as Price appeared, and he had this great makeup, he had a mask over his face, and you never saw his mouth. That was kind of cool.
Can I spell this so people can search? Or do you spell it out?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Abominable Dr. Fives, Phibes trailer. Look that up on YouTube. It's really a cool, freaky trailer.
Yeah, it's only a couple minutes, so it would take up too much of your precious time on YouTube. But Price did those movies. He did a lot of TV stuff as well, promotional stuff. But he was also a very good cook. He did quite a few cookbooks.
I don't. I was aware of that, but I don't know if he was cooking.
He was quite.
And it was they sold a lot. I know that from just watching
Yeah.
him on Johnny Carson on Entertainment TV, a rerun, and he's promoting a book.
What's in here, baby?
And Johnny Carson mentioned how successful his book sales have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he did several. And his daughter now tours a lot of the convention shows. And he probably she has some. She wrote a book. Just cut it out right there because I'm going to get that information. I'm gonna get that right. She wrote a book about it. Okay. Sorry.
Go Braves!
I didn't know I was going to do it.
I wish I were watching the game, but I'd rather because Sunday won't work out.
Where do you mean stop it?
Book. I think when he said book,
and
that's the key word.
book and
Okay, hang on. Right there. All right. Get up there.
hang on, don't record yet.
I won't. Let me know when you're ready.
Top of the eighth. Braves 3-3. Braves are winning 3-2. Top of the eighth.
They'll still tank.
No, they won't. They'll say that. This is their year.
This is their year.
They are. This squad.
Yeah, they're gonna lose.
It's just, well, we'll just see what happens.
I'm not optimistic. You know, pizza's good, but it makes you thirsty.
It's called this sodium in it. Water's best
All
for
right,
that.
coming into it.
You ready?
Yes.
Stand by. Hold it.
Vincent Price, a doctor's biography. And you know what? It's now available in paperback. And this was written by Victoria Price. That was Vincent's daughter. And, she traces her father's 65-year career. Because he started great, just like a lot of
I love radio.
the old, or even Karloff was in the radio.
Old radio.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about it. Because he was
I don't think
kind
he
of hard to
was.
understand, unfortunately, back then. But he did Broadway, television. Price did everything. And he was a consummate gentleman. He was Jack Benny's nemesis on like 3 or 4 shows I had him film, and he always thought Jack Benny was such a he thought so much of himself, and he really wasn't really a very smart man. That's how he played it. And it was great. They were great friends. You know, don't get me wrong. Just like Jimmy Stewart, and good friends as well. So, sure, but the book is called Vincent Price, A Doctor's Biography. And it's actually very, very good. So you got a forward by Roger Payne. But it's a good book to look for. As a matter of fact, as I'm looking at it, you can get it for $12.09 right now.
That's really cheap.
On Amazon.
Man, everyone knows Amazon.
Well, everybody knows. But you know the
It's like
price.
the air you breathe.
Well, yeah, of course, the air you breathe, and all that sort of stuff. But they did. The bottom of Dr. Fives, he did. I think it's 3 other movies. He did. That's right.
See, I didn't know they had sequels.
Yeah, of course.
I know the original.
Yeah, the bottom of Dr. Fives. That was 1971 because we were in the 70s. It's a little while ago.
Yeah, we're in the 70s now, baby.
Yeah, baby. So and then of course, in and around this time, Dr. Fives rises again, which was the sequel. That was 1972. Go figure.
So they must have been successful,
It's like
obviously.
the next year they did the sequel. And then wait. No, I'm sorry.
I just want to add that when I was a kid in the library, I'm talking elementary school, the monster books were my favorites, the ones that had pictures of all these monsters. And Dr. Fives always was one of my favorites.
That's a cult film.
Yeah, I love anything with a skeleton or a skull. Like in the Omega Man with Charlton Heston, the last man on Earth, he pulls back. He finds a bed, right? He thinks there's going to be some people underneath, and he pulls the covers back, and there's all these skeletons that are all decomposed bodies. It just always spooked me when I watched it. Anyway,
Right, it's
movie reruns.
Tales of Terror, Masquerade of Death, Box, Titles of House of Usher. We talked about it briefly at the Pendulum Haunted Palace, which is a great.
That's a good one. There,
Yeah,
Haunted
great.
Palace. That's a great one.
Conqueror Worm was another one. I mean, there's just so Madhouse. I mean,
When did he pass away?
Vincent
Price.
Vincent Price. Gosh, when did he pass away? Was it?
Some years.
It must have been in the 80s, no?
It didn't say it was that long ago.
Was that on?
I get that.
Hang on, I can look this up. Vincent Price. He played Egghead in the old Batman show. He did some damn.
Bunch of cutters.
Game
Bunch of
shows.
cutters again. That's too much of a lull.
Yeah.
Back it up when this is when did he die?
Okay. Let me play it back.
No, back it up. Back it up.
Al
Not that long ago. I'm gonna stop it there.
Okay, right there.
Hang on a second.
was tied down. Braves
It's October.
tied it up. I mean, the Cardinals have tied it up.
Hang on a second. Wait a minute. Right. That long ago.
But
You right?
but it was
I'm ready when you are.
October.
Wait a minute. Hang on.
Well, it was actually October 25th, 1993. He was 82 years old.
He lived a long time.
Yeah, born 1911. 1911. He was actually Al. He wasn't so much a fan. He was an art connoisseur.
That's what.
That's what it was. So Red Skelton was a fan. Yeah, Red Skelton was a fan. Even Larry Storch. It's kind of like when these Tony Curtis died, before he died. It's like these old actors that they don't get hired as actors anymore. So what can I do? Well, I guess I can paint. So that's what I like to.
and some presidents too.
Well,
I don't want to mention names. I don't want to mention names. We're going to alienate. We're going to alienate people. But you're right. Yeah.
George W.
His paintings. Actually, his paintings aren't bad.
So what does he do? Just paint big giant zombies? Is that what he does?
Actually, he paints.
He paints portraits of human beings.
Really? How do they look?
Actually, they look good. They actually.
They don't look like cheesy folk art or folk art. I can't talk folk art. I can't talk.
It looks like finger painting.
But guys, there were so many Price films. I mean, for crying out loud, we could spend several shows. He was an amazing actor. many genres, horror genres. He did also do serious dramatic roles, which he did do, and that weren't necessarily horror. And,
He was funny too.
yes, and he could be funny as well. He could be delightfully funny. As well as
I watched him yesterday on TV, Return of the Fly.
that's not a comedy.
And then I said, it's surprising. I watched it yesterday.
Well, it's funny that he turned to
He didn't.
David Hedison was the Fly.
he just
We should have talked about that last time.
I think he just wants to.
He did.
Well, we can do it.
And his daughter, by the way, his daughter looks just like him. And she's in, his daughter is involved with Jodie Foster.
And that's
Or was.
really something because she's great.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just pointing out facts.
No, that's
Factoids.
Factoids.
But the interesting thing is, I mean, literally, his daughter looked just like David Hedison, which is strange. I mean, anyway, I think it's uncanny if you look side by side. They look almost identical.
We'll do a show on Erwin Allen sometime.
Oh yeah, we're gonna Lost in Space. We teased we're gonna handle that in November after Halloween, and that's gonna be a big pod blast. I have tons of clips and things to talk about. Did you know? I'll just share. I'll tease it a little bit. Jonathan Harris, Dr. Smith himself. Now I'm straight. Not there's anything wrong with it. He pitched me on the ass back in 1992 at the convention. He goes, "Good night, Chance."
Did you enjoy that?
It freaked me out, but I liked him. He was a great guy. I just said, "Oh, good night, sir." This was when I was really young.
That's close to the surprise.
We're having drinks with friends at a hotel, like anyway. But he was a good guy, Jonathan Harris.
Yeah, he was
Character actor
He was great.
from the Bronx, but he sounded like he was from England. Of course, he did that accent, but he was from the Bronx, New York. Acting.
So you talked about Psycho. Now was that the only picture like that Mr. Hitchcock made?
Certainly not. Certainly not.
Tell us more. Tell us more. What do you got?
Of Hitchcock specifically?
Well, not necessarily Hitchcock, but the films from the 70s.
Okay, well, we already talked about The Exorcist. Now, to keep on that devil type.
I know what you're going to say. The Omen.
The Omen freaked me out. Richard Donner directed, and we have a couple clips with one of those chilling clips where a woman hangs herself in front of 5-year-old Damien and says, "It's all for you." And they did a terrible remake.
We just have one.
Yeah, let's roll it. Just one short. It's brief. A jackass.
I love those screams.
It's a good cast. Good cast.
Well, heck, listen, Al.
Jeez.
Al, damn,
Yes.
God, if we're
Pretty
gonna play
dark
that
stuff.
one, Al, if we're going to play that one, then play this one. Here's another one. Here you go. Here comes a weird world. Boris Karloff.
Ew!
Screams.
She said someone's eyeball getting ripped out.
It's a lot of women screaming. Attention, all thrill seekers and horror show addicts. That's what the express is. Attend our giant all-color spookathon. More terrifying, more mystifying, more horrifying than anything you've ever seen before. That's what it says. It's chilling. It's thrilling. It's the most. Oh, that's great. We warn you.
Don't come alone!
No. You'll never believe it.
All right, here come the cops.
Live PD.
Horrific and all new. Medical deviant. Oh, take it out, Al. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it.
That sounds absolutely
Well,
dreadful.
well, basically, that was
You should have seen it.
basically.
You should have got his eyeballs ripped out.
Yeah. Well,
In color. Blood everywhere.
well, that was from the weird retro drive-in horror show.
Jeez, there's that stink
And
bug.
there's a stink bug.
The stink bug just landed on my
Ladies and
nose.
gentlemen, the stink
I
bug
can get him.
is just
Where
landed.
do I put him? Outside?
Take it outside. Because the stink bug is just landing in front of
Take
you.
it outside.
Oh my God! The humanity of it all. Ow, what will we do? Feed it to Sonny.
I'm going to flush him down the
Sonny
commode.
will eat
No,
that.
take slide
As quickly as
outside.
he can. But don't smash it, because if you smash it, it'll stink like
They got the stink
one
bug.
of Al's belches.
Got the stink bug.
So-
didn't they?
So, Al, what do you say we lock Chance out and we just finish the show?
Okay, we can do that.
Let me close the door. There, I closed the door. Let me lock it. There we go. I locked it. Chance can't get in. So now we can do the show.
Don't cut. Keep rolling.
Oh, wait. He can't.
Did you put him outside?
Yeah, I'm outside. Here's Sonny. Are you still
I
rolling?
thought I
Yeah.
locked you out, Chance. Chance, I thought I locked you out.
I have returned.
But
Where's Sonny at?
He's right here. Keep rolling.
the stink bug has returned in the form of Chance Bartels. He has turned into a weird, horrifying, mystifying stink bug from hell. Right, Al?
That's right. I'm really glad you got him out of here. I hate those things. Like I said, he came in on the back of you.
Yeah, right. So anyway, these movies live and breathe on television, late night television, whether it's Me TV or whether there's a channel on Roku called the Monster Channel, and there's all these now newly relived horror hosts. Dr. Basil Grimsley. Then there's several others that are out there. Sammy Terry.
You can sit down now.
Cemetery, Sammy Terry. He does horror shows, live horror shows as a horror host. And of course, someone that Al Chance and I go see here at the Plaza Theater in Atlanta. Professor Morte's.
We have the House of Haunted Hill coming up.
Yeah, and he's only going to do a matinee. He's only going to do a matinee. But that's beside it. So
He's not
this,
doing a 10 o'clock show?
nope, he's just doing a matinee at I think it's 1:30 in the afternoon.
We can go back now.
Nope, I won't be. But that's
Well,
beside,
Chance and I can-
that's okay. I don't have to go all of it. But there's so many. Again, there's just like with everything in life. There's so many movies of this genre that we just barely touching on. A Chance, you want to touch on some.
You're on a
other-
camera.
Yeah. I've got
You're on a camera range. It is,
I don't care.
a lot, and we're gonna go into the third phase of the horror genre, and it all started in 1978. The daughter of Janet Leigh, who was in Psycho, worked on a small independent picture, low budget, for John Carpenter, which is now a cult classic called Halloween.
Ooh. Ooh.
Who came home?
Michael Myers.
Oh, you mean Bill Shatner?
That's right. Thank you for mentioning that. It was one of my things. Most people don't realize the mask that Michael Myers, the killer, wears in all the Halloween movies is a William Shatner Captain Kirk mask.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Now, what did he use that in? He wore that in Star Trek?
No, it was a toy from 1976, I believe. That because see, Star
I'm not
Trek.
up on that stuff.
Well, in the 70s, Star Trek had a huge comeback. In 1972, the first Star Trek convention happened, and it became really popular. So then there was a whole new wave of merchandise, including a Captain Kirk mask. Around 1976.
Captain Kirk mask.
Well, because it's of Captain Kirk, William Shatner. So you
Yes,
can
it looks
pretend
like Captain
it
Kirk.
was a Halloween mask to dress up. It does. It looks like him. It
Really?
does. He knew the features of his face at the
Go back.
time.
Go back and look.
Yeah. So and so that was Jamie Lee Curtis, and that put her on the map, and she became the scream queen of horror movies.
I can't hear my life.
I hear you.
I don't hear
And International Pictures released Halloween, and then eventually Universal Pictures bought the rights, and they produced Halloween 2, and that was released in 81, shot in 80. But I'm jumping ahead here. So Halloween, the night he came home, as Tom said, that was the tagline. And, you know, it was, in my opinion, less is more. And there wasn't so much gore in it. It was more suspense and genuine terror. And that's why I think it really became so popular. Tremendous success at the box office. Great musical score. And by the way, John Carpenter did that music. The theme Halloween was by the director, John Carpenter.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
And I think
So he did the music, right?
yeah, don't you have the clip of Halloween? I know from the end of our last pod blast you had it. Just look for it while I talk about Halloween a
But
little
why do
bit.
we need that? We don't
I want
need
to
that.
play a little bit of it because it's an iconic theme.
Don't argue with us. I will have you beheaded.
Follow orders, Al.
Making me work over here.
Tom's the
Poor
director
baby.
here.
Poor baby.
I'm the assistant director. Just follow
I
orders.
see.
But Halloween, it was just, of course, as you all know, just an awesome movie.
I don't know. I think this is it right here.
I think I'm faint. Can you turn up your game, sir?
I'm not scared.
That's it.
It plays. Yeah.
That's all you. That's all we're hearing. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, sure. You know, we didn't use all of it.
I sent you the whole thing. Well, that's okay.
No, we
It's
cut
30
it down. We cut it down.
Okay.
We can't play a lot of it.
All right. Inside baseball. Speaking of baseball, well, as we record this,
No, don't go there.
there's some playoffs going on, and I'm going to keep my eye on the score. So, all right. So Halloween's launched a whole bunch of what I call slasher movies that were gory, that had gross out effects and things, but the audiences loved it. I will flash forward to 1980, Friday the 13th, filmed in 79 for Paramount Pictures. And then you had also in 1980 The Shining, Stanley Kubrick's movie with Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall and Scatman Crothers, one of my favorite actors. He's the African American bald actor you saw in so many movies like Twilight Zone, the movie, thank you, and Kick the Can segment. Wasn't that the one that Steven Spielberg directed? He directed one of them. Tobe Hooper did Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, the remake of the Shatner piece.
Yeah, there's several directors.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was Spielberg, right? And then there was poor Vic Morrow was beheaded in a segment in Twilight Zone, the movie, where it took place in Vietnam. He played a terrible bigot, and he was trying to save two Vietnamese kids. He had a change of heart at the end. And John Landis directed that, and he was sued. It went on in court for years and years and years. John Landis, by the way, had a comeback after that with Thriller. He directed the Michael Jackson Thriller music video, narrated, as we mentioned last podcast, by our Vincent Price. So you had The Shining, and then Friday the 13th. I want to just play a little bit of the first trailer. We didn't sample the whole thing, but I want to take you back to 1980. This was the most financially successful of all the Friday the 13th, and I'll share with some numbers. I love that scream.
That was a great scream.
So Friday the 13th, let's talk about some box office. If you adjust for inflation, the first Friday the 13th for Paramount Studios earned $133,155,700. The unadjusted gross was $39,754,601. Released on May 9th, 1980. Now, quickly, it was quite a franchise. They produced many, many movies. The most successful one,
It's like saying woo.
Freddy vs. Jason. That was the next highest grossing of all the films at $123,454,000. Then Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D, which we covered, played the trailer of it in our last podcast, and Friday the 13th Final Chapter. The 2009 remake, which is by Warner Brothers, which is unusual, not Paramount, was the 5th. Then Friday the 13th Part 2, number 6. Number 7, Friday the 13th Part 5. Number 8, Friday the 13th Part 6. Number 9, Friday the 13th Part 7, Jason Takes Manhattan. That's a tongue-in-cheek. It's got a little bit of comedy. Well, they all had comedy and TNA and stuff. Then Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday.
That was the last one.
That's what the title. No, and then Friday the 13th, Part 8, and then Jason X is the last one. So collectively, you're talking about $1 billion franchise. So you may hate it, you may love it, but it was a big money.
I didn't care for it. Like,
And that's cool. I did.
Not everybody's cup of tea.
I like the first three. The third one was the first one with the hockey mask, the one in 3D. In the second one, Jason was the killer. The first one was the mother, but in the second one, he wore like a potato sack. But they were pretty gruesome. There's one murder in part 2. I find it hard to watch with a guy in a wheelchair. I won't discuss any further than that. It was a little brutal. I think it was too brutal. But anyway, so you had that, and I'll let Tom jump in here, but I'm going to just name some names, no clips, no nothing, of some slasher films that are notable for my generation. You probably saw them on HBO and Showtime, running endless. All right, here's Terror Train. Then you had Funhouse, Prom Night with Scream Queen Jamie Lee Curtis, who is the daughter of Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh. The Howling that we talked about last Podblast. I love The Howling with the lovely Dean Wallace transforming into a werewolf on camera. And then you had, and I know you have a clip of this, Poltergeist in '82, which my generation loved. It was a big hit. Steven Spielberg executive produced it. Tobe Hooper directed it. There's a scene where a guy pulls his face apart in a mirror. It was like a nightmare sequence. Oh, God. Do you have a clip? I love the line by that sweet little girl.
They're here.
What, like a gangbang?
And that's
Keep it going. Joe Beth Williams.
yeah, I'm scared. All right, so that that
Was that the end of the clip?
No, that was. But
Oh,
we-
man, no, it is. All right.
Played.
No.
But sadly, she died when we got married. She, a little girl.
She did. And she started in Happy Days with the Fonz and Winkler right before that. Yeah, she was a regular for just one season. She was the daughter of someone the Fonz was dating.
Well, I'm talking
Steady
about
with.
the little girl.
Yeah, the real
The little
the
girl.
actor, yeah.
Yeah, not the sister. She died at the hands
Of a crazed ex-boyfriend. That was a boyfriend
Yeah,
that killed her.
that's not. I'm talking.
Dominique, that was her name. Dominique Dunn, who was murdered.
Yeah, I'm talking about O'Rourke.
Right.
I think it was
Heather O'Rourke. Correct.
But she was on Happy Days. I didn't know she was.
That's where she got her start, her big break on Happy Days.
I thought it was-
Yeah, that was now. There was a show I loved, which Al doesn't know about. It was just released by Warner Home Video on Blu-ray and streaming. V. It was a miniseries shot in '82, released in '83. And Dominique Dunn was in the cast, and they shot scenes with her around the time she was murdered, and they had to recast her and refilm all her scenes for V, which was an alien invasion miniseries about lizard people that wanted to come to Earth ostensibly to be our friends and save mankind, but they really wanted to. Here's a Twilight Zone reference. It's a cookbook.
Yeah.
They really wanted to
serve
eat
man.
us. They wanted to serve man.
Yeah.
Very good search, season 3, Twilight Zone. But yeah, Dominic Dunn, that was a tragedy. And I've met the director, Robert John. Oh my God. Stop it, Dave. No.
Well, it's a shame that
No.
that the aliens didn't.
He's the director and writer. Johnson's his last name.
All right, just call him Mr. Johnson.
No.
That covers it. Well, it was Mr. Johnson, not Tor Johnson, from Planet Out from Outer Space fame, but
Kenneth Johnson. Kenneth Johnson. Jeez Louise. I met him in Burbank, California in '07. I met him in Tampa in '06. And he said, Chance, I don't want to see you at another convention. You've heard me enough. I like you. I like Samantha, who I was with at the time. He goes, I don't want to see you or her at another convention. He goes, we're good.
Really?
He was being nice. He thought, look, I've said everything I could possibly say. And he He did a lot. He created the Bionic Woman spinoff. He created Incredible Hulk TV adaptation of Stan Lee's character from Marvel Comics. He's a really good director. He typically would direct a pilot and maybe a big 2-hour episode and a season premiere. But he's a really good guy, and I wish he'd have a comeback. And he could not stand V, The Final Battle, the follow-up NBC miniseries, which also was a rating success, or the one season of V as a regular series. They ruined his concept, in his opinion.
There's probably something on the beach somewhere office.
Yeah.
Office royalties. What do you think?
He told a funny story. I would think. Yeah, I know. He passed on.
Gas?
He passed on something that would have set him for life. Think Chuck Norris. There's a big hit show that Chuck Norris did in the 90s, early 90s. Walker, Texas Ranger. And Bellagio Productions wound up doing that, but he passed on it. Yeah, and that would have put him on Easy Street.
That was a big mistake. I know that's so Al's favorite show. Al's not playing.
And I want to refer you guys, because I had a big horror phase in my life, and I still like horror. And I used to read a magazine called Fangoria. And that's published by Terry O'Quinn, who did Starlog. I have stacks of it still.
And I remember when that magazine came out, I subscribed to it. It was one of the first magazines I subscribed to. And but it got so gory.
Yeah, on the cover.
On the cover. I said, that's enough.
I was a little kid, and I got in trouble at school. I bring it to school and pass it around teachers.
Oh, man, no kidding. I bet you did.
I got in a lot of trouble with Fangoria at school.
I mean, Famous Monsters and Filmland is one thing, but Fangoria, that's
it's hardcore gore.
How many of those things you got? You got a bunch of them?
Oh, probably maybe 50 issues.
There's so many.
It's still around. Starlog isn't.
Yeah.
It's sister, or actually father publication, but Fangoria is. Now, so just a few more obscure horror movies. Motel Hell, that Al and I were talking about before we rolled on this podcast. That was a weird one. Weird one. And then you had with Ron Howard's brother Clint. He did a lot of movies in the horror genre to get a paycheck. And he did one called Evil Speak, which really freaked me out, where he played a rejected teenager, and he had this computer program, and it got into satanic stuff and freaked me out.
Well, you want to play a clip from that?
No, we don't. I didn't even load one because it's just so bad.
Okay.
No need.
All right, we'll pass it. Folks, that will be a pass. Continue, Chance. What else you got?
Well, heck, we can do another podcast on horror another time, but that's really all I had that were noteworthy. There's so many.
Well,
I could go on and on.
No.
We could go on and on about others, but other horror movies at the time. That's all I watched practically. Were scary movies and slasher movies and monster movies,
Oh, really?
along with sci-fi.
Okay.
Now, what do you got, Tom?
How about this right here? It all started at the record hop. Had they known, the black monster waiting outside. That's what it says. And the car rolls over the cliff. And we don't mean in his shorts. It's a
That's racist.
It's a Gila monster. That's all it is.
It's an iguana.
Yeah.
Just a big old lizard.
That's all it is. Uh-oh. 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 Folks, the giant Gila monster. Folks, you should see this. An amazing Kong-like monster terrifyingly erupts on the plantation, on the population, devouring people as if they were flies. The giant Gila monster. Oh man, that just scares me. That was put up by Hollywood pictures.
I gotta confess, I lied. Go ahead, Tom.
Wasn't it just great schlock from the good old haunted drive-in movies that you can go see now as a kid?
I didn't go see that stuff.
It looks like Irwin Allen took a little bit of
That's like his playbook of stock footage and lizards doubling as giant dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to mention a couple more because I lied. I'm not quite done with the horror genre of the 80s. I want to mention Prom Night. That also had Jamie Lee Curtis. Don't have a clip.
I have a poster for that. Would you like to buy one?
Yeah,
I have
actually,
several.
yeah, I'll buy one.
Yeah.
Yeah, or we could trade or whatever. But that they remade that recently, or a few years ago. But that was a pretty good about this taunted kid who got revenge by offing all the teens. Another movie like that was from I think 1976, Massacre at Central High. That was a pretty good movie that aired endlessly on HBO that I liked a lot. Where this kid, I'll be brief, was working on his car innocently, and the jocks, like the car's on blocks, right? And he's working underneath it. These jocks mess with him. They kick the block, and the car comes down and cripples him. And so he gets revenge one by one on all of the teenagers that had a part in him getting maimed. And one of those teenagers, Lonnie O'Grady, Don Grady's little sister, who went on to do Eight Is Enough. And
He was in My Three Sons.
that's what I just said. Yep, My Three. Did I say My Three Sons? Yeah, My Three Sons, Don Grady. Yeah, correct. Now, I didn't say it. Thank you for mentioning that.
No, you did not.
But she sadly died of a drug overdose. And now Don's gone himself due to cancer. It's really awful. But, as we age, we're going to see all these iconic and some not so iconic but beloved actors and actresses pass away and directors. But not to be a downer, I want to also mention, I mentioned this at the end of our last Podblast, on October the 13th, I did mention this, but I have some new info about Atlanta Comic Convention's 100th convention. Forgot to mention the most important fact. If you're in Atlanta, now, I know you might be in LA or wherever, another part of the world, you might be in England, but if you're in Atlanta, it's only $5 to get into this convention, which is pretty cheap this day and age. In the day and age of Dragon Con and San Diego Comic Con and certain horror conventions, $5 to get in and free parking. And it's in the area of North Druid Hills of Atlanta at the Century Center Marriott Hotel. And they're giving away over $600 in cash credits. And all you have to do is just show up and buy a $5 ticket, and you get a raffle. The odds are good of winning. And they have T-shirts they've given out, like I'm wearing. Anyone watching live, yes, on Sunday, October 13th, 2019, is their 100th convention. They claim it's the only convention in the world to reach 100 shows, and that's because they do it every 3 months.
Woo.
And so, shout out to Atlanta Comic Convention. I love you.
That sounds awesome. That's
And hard.
that's but you guys see this movie. It's from 1988. It's something everyone's afraid of. Ah! And he does! That's great.
John Byrne.
Oh, it's a great movie. It's a great movie.
Did you know that MGM at one time had a series of DVDs called Midnight Movies, and that was one of them?
I don't tell that. This is from 1988. A great character actor, John Vernon.
Yes! Best known as the Dean in Animal House.
Yes, exactly. He just not too terribly.
Correct. He did a bunch of Fall Guy episodes, but I digress. You know, I love that stupid old lady show. I had every episode in 60
You
minutes.
see the guy in Animal House, he said, someone dropped a whole bag of fizzies.
No,
he was the Dean.
He was the dean.
Yeah, he was
the dean, wasn't
No, he was
They
Dean
got-
Wilmer. Dean Wilmer. Yeah, come on, get it right out.
And we could touch on so many horror movies. We haven't even discussed the Stephen King horror movies. Christine's, Firestarter.
Creep
and all.
Show.
Oh, I love Creep Show. Oh,
he?
don't get me
Speaking of
started.
roaches with
Oh,
Creep Show.
oh God, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
terrible.
E.G. Marshall playing the asshole.
Almost said a bad word.
Oh,
The jerk,
Can't do
rich guy in the apartment that was mean to everybody.
That was
Probably a racist.
But that was great because he locked himself in that room.
In his comeuppance.
Yeah, he was afraid of bugs.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, it was in his raisin bran.
Yeah,
Okay, go in the blender.
that wasn't that great? I
It was great.
That was good stuff.
Another roach gross out scene was in. God, you ever see that movie? Problem Child. Okay,
Let's listen to
Problem Child 2.
it. 12 Terrifying Tales. This September, it's coming out.
Which was last month.
All right, so that really was.
There's a new creep show.
Yeah, I know. So
Cool, good.
I wanted to hit you with, but it wasn't fair to play the trailer because it's a very visual trailer. So go to YouTube, look up Creepshow 2019, a Shudder original series is what it says.
September. We're on.
It says September 26th.
Okay.
I haven't seen it yet, so I'm just wondering, has it actually dropped or
Is it a Netflix
well, it's based on
original or?
well, it's based on a 1982 film written by Stephen King and George Romero, but I don't know.
Oh my God, we didn't even talk about Night of the Living Dead, 1968, which just had a big anniversary,
Yeah. Well, it doesn't really say. It just says.
and Dawn of the Dead.
So
that
look
was
it up.
Oh man,
So look it up. It's
did you guys see Dawn of the Dead?
Yes.
Great. Oh, those effects. That's one of my favorite special effects guys. Tom Savini. He did the first Friday the 13th. That is a gore master. I've met him many times. Oh, and he's a good father, by the way. He's got lovely daughters, but he is a madman when it comes to horror and gore makeup. Hey, and then there's also John Carpenter's They Live from '88. That's a cult classic. Love that movie where Roddy Piper, former wrestler, he puts on these glasses and he notices
They live.
there's skeletons everywhere. Bill, that is a paranoia classic if you're into paranoia pieces. It's the Manson family.
This movie scared the crap out of me. Of course they are.
Is that Charles Manson?
It looks like it. So this is one of the creepiest movies you'll ever see.
Don't tell me there's real dead bodies like Faces of Death kind of thing.
No.
Okay.
But they look pretty real. But But what happens is they end up getting eaten. There's children shouldn't play with dead things. And I saw that at the drive-in by myself. It was one of those really schlocky horror movies, but again, it still has a cult following to this day. Children shouldn't play with dead things. Don't watch it.
I hear you. Dawn of the Dead, I mentioned. Day of the Dead, 85. I had the honor of working with Greg Nicotero on The Walking Dead, and that was his big first special effects makeup job, was in Day of the Dead. Really cool stuff that he did. He's awesome. And I want to mention, of course, we didn't mention Piranha from the 70s, and they had a great remake, and Richard Dreyfuss had a small part in it, and other big actors. But it came out in 2010, Piranha. It was really, really good. I mean, the effects, and Greg Nicotero worked on that picture as well. I think they shot it in New Mexico. It was fantastic. I mean, there's a scene where a girl's parasailing, and she goes down into the water, comes up, and it's just her torso. And she doesn't even know. She looks down, she's in shock, like her legs are gone and her guts.
End of the podcast.
Well, hold on.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
We're near the end of the podcast, so we're going to have to wrap it up.
Okay.
But not to cut away from it, we have talked a lot about a lot of great movies.
Great rental ideas and ideas for you to
Yes.
stream and purchase.
That's some pretty crappy ones, too.
One of the
In
best,
a good way, though.
one of the best movies ever made, in my opinion, was Young Frankenstein. And we haven't talked about that. You know? So. Oh, that's a great.
Don't you have another clip, too?
Well, look,
Yeah.
look,
From Young Frankenstein?
Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, yeah.
Hit it real quick.
Mel Brooks. We got to lighten it up around here.
So much for being quick.
Wait a minute. I stopped it. I'll fix it.
Hey, at the end,
Okay.
at the end,
Hang on. Yeah.
Hey, Jimmy,
Hang on.
oh, you were giving me the signal. I didn't pick up on it.
Hang on a second. Let me get it.
hey, Al, would you back it up to that again?
Hang on.
No, back it up to the beginning of that clip again. Hang on a second. Hold on.
Hang on.
Hang on.
Here it is.
No, wait, stop. What I'm asking you to do, hang on. Let's go cut out that children should play with dead things clip. Just that was all.
No.
I should.
No.
No, I should. We should. So let's
No.
let's cut all that out. I would say cut all that out.
No, it was cool. It looked like the Manson family.
Huh?
Well, I said, I would leave it in because that's an obscure reference. What? No, don't cut it.
It's
It's leave it in. We want to be obscure.
All right, let me start out with the
Start that second.
second clip.
I
We've
have a
gone,
question for you.
so far, we've got an hour, 26 minutes.
Okay, we'll wrap it up.
49 seconds.
I like to keep it an hour and a half or so.
Hang on.
That's awesome.
Let's listen to what. Let's listen to what Mel Brooks. This is the short clip. Let's listen to what Mel Brooks had to say about working with Marty Feldman on Young Frankenstein. Here it goes. That's great. That's great. Isn't that great? Terry Garr is in a wheelchair. So that's great. That was an interview with some of the cast. Terry Garr, unfortunately, is not in good health. She's in a wheelchair.
It's sad. It's so lovely, Young Frankenstein.
And Lily Martin is doing the entire interview with, on stage. So, as a matter of fact, Mel goes around and does some stage shows. He's either coming here or he's already been. I'm sorry I don't recall the dates, but I really want to go. Would love to go see him because he said he's just a real hoot up there on stage by himself. Just like Billy Crystal did the one-man show. Well, Mel Brooks goes around and does these, which I think is pretty fun.
Guys,
So anyway,
what's your favorite scary ventriloquist dummy in horror movies?
Charlie McCarthy.
Okay, so do you like Magic? No, did you like Magic with Hopkins? I like Chucky from the Child's Play series, and that's all I'll say because we're running out of time. But those movies were really good. Started in '88 with Catherine Hicks. Great series. Bride of Chucky.
Remember the scary dolls and Barbarella with Jane Fonda?
Oh yeah.
His teeth.
Yes. And now I got a question for each of you before we wrap. Do you have a favorite death in a horror movie, or memorable, killing, deaths, whatever? Just think on it. Maybe I'll tell you mine if you need to think, or if you know, then go ahead.
Go ahead, tell us yours first.
All right, this is memorable. I didn't like it at all. It was in Halloween 2. There was an actress named Pamela Susan Shute who was lovely at the time. This was set in a hospital, right? And Michael Myers like scalds her in this hot water, and it's awful. Like she's naked, topless, and he puts her head under the water and just melts her face off and her boobs off. Ugh, I hated it. That's memorable, not my favorite, and it was really disturbing.
Well,
but
that is the story.
yeah, do you have a memorable?
I'll go back even further to Bride of Frankenstein. Frankenstein had a bit of a personality in that movie, as we all know. And so he lets Dr. Frankenstein and his wife go. He says, "You go, you live." And then his hand reaches up slowly on the lever. And he looks and turns to Dr. Pretorius. "You stay, you die, dead," or something like that. He pulls the lever down. And the whole thing's like, that's just a great classic scene. It really is. And by the way, real quick, in the movie Van Helsing, that you guys showed, the Greatest Showman, who's in that again?
Hugh Jackman was the
Hugh
star of that.
Yeah. And at the end of that movie, the Van Helsing movie, it ended
Zac
very much.
Efron.
It ended very much like Mary Shelley's original Frankenstein. If you remember,
I have that on DVD. We need to watch that.
remember the Frankenstein monster drifting off on the raft? That's how it looked.
I don't.
If you go look at the very last chapter of her book, yeah, like you all have that on hand. But I thought that was kind of interesting how they pulled that little teeny tidbit from her book at the very end. That's how they ended the name. I thought that was very cool. Al, you got a favorite?
Probably House of Wax. When they fall into there's a big container of wax, you know, the wax figures.
Yeah.
And they fall into the wax.
Yeah, Madame Tussauds Wax.
Yes.
Well, that's great. Well, this has been fun. We went a little over. We got stupid and
Not
crazy
really.
in places to where we rambled a little bit more than we normally do. We apologize for that. Sometimes that's going to happen. We try.
And I want to wish everyone a happy Halloween, a safe and fun Halloween as Al plays us out with
Yes.
The Exorcist.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening, everybody, and happy Halloween.
Take care.
And we are done.
And most of your post is already done. You just got to tighten it up. And
What I'm going to do, I listen to the whole thing raw, and then I type it up. It runs 1:35:03, so that's not
an hour and
an
what?
hour and 35 minutes.
That's about our average.
Yeah.
Last three.
How many people still watching us on Facebook?
We would have had more if we weren't up against the Braves in the playoffs. But I wouldn't think about it. It just happened to be this Sunday. All right, Braves have come back. It's 7-5.
Hey, you know who tuned in? Our buddy Ron Kirk from Turner.
It's 7-5, and the Braves are coming back, but it's bottom of the ninth. Just
That's not
saying.
what I asked you. How
I'm
many
sorry.
people are on there right now?
For one thing. We had a bunch.
Okay, once again, I'm going to leave this right here.
Well, I'm not going to touch it.
I'd get under there. I would,
$10
I would touch
says
it.
it's not here next week.
Is that the same one from
No,
last time?
Well, let me, I got to save this.
So we've got to go there. Look,
It's right there.
All right.
It's right in there.
I see it.
Our last show went 1:35. That's not too bad.
Actually, I wanted to play out with that Friday 13th disco, but that's cool. That worked out.
I like to do it.
It's funny when it's something he likes, he doesn't have an issue with the length or rights or anything.
That's
It's
not
only
true.
when it's something.
You know,
that's fine. Too short.
everybody plays everything they want. You know, it's just pop right. It's just number 6.
Did we say 7?
And personally, I wouldn't drop it till Sunday night again. Personally,
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, damn, I already said on Facebook we're going to drop it
You
early.
can correct it. So it's better to drop it on Sunday night.
just because that's
To let the other one simmer a little bit. Okay.
That's just an opinion. Do what you
Okay.
want.
No, that's fine.
I don't care. I'm not going to.
No, we're
Well,
not doing
I want to
we're
keep it
democracy.
uniform. You know what I'm saying?
So Sunday night, okay.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, I'll finish it up tomorrow.
let me ask you this.
But there is something dramatic happening when your mic cuts off.
Well, the
I
only
can
thing,
hear it.
I've got an amp, and I'll work on it tomorrow. I can plug the earphones into an amp, and that way we can.
No, but I'm saying when you cut your mic on, it's like ours drop way down and yours becomes very overbearing.
I don't
Just
know.
listen, something's weird.
It sounds fine though when you play it back.
Not really. I'm hearing it,
But you weren't overmodulating at all. Now the only time it
But you don't think I'm-
overmodulated
but
is
you-
when we
Did you cut the
scream.
Facebook Live?
No, it's when we scream. Ah, you
I
know.
want to hear the beginning of the show. I want
Yeah.
to hear the very beginning.
You want to hear it?
I want to hear the very beginning.
Okay. I'm gonna leave the Facebook Live up for a few minutes.
Okay. We got to figure out when we're going to do this again because I got a conflict on the 13th of Sunday the 13th. I'll be at
Well,
my
you just don't have to make arrangements.
Tom, I got to ask you this. It's
Mhm.
Sunday the 13th, I'm going to Atlanta Comic Con and I'm seeing The Joker with my friend Jeff and his wife.
Mhm.
So I can't record Sunday the 13th. So
Okay,
you-
yeah, I'm out of town.
No, not this Sunday, this following Sunday. Is it this Sunday when you're going to be out?
This Sunday I'm out of town, the next Sunday I'm out
So when are we going to? All right, so then we have one in the can for next week. When are we
of town. That's
going
what this one. What this one.
When are we going to record after that? Is my question. What's your calendar look like?
I'm off that Monday. I'm off that Monday after the 13th. I'm off that next Monday. That day after.
So you're not available before the 14th?
Nope.
At all, period. No days, no
I'm
after
out of
work.
town. I'm out of town.
Okay. I didn't know you were gone that long.
Yeah. I mean, I'm off. Let's see, this Sunday and Monday, I'm at the Roxy Theater of the Braves Stadium.
Man, the Braves have come back 6-7.
So,
In the bottom of the ninth.
today is the, what's today's day?
Today's the third. The 3rd of
Why
October.
don't we say goodbye to the Facebook people? Whoever's left there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hang on.
All right.
Later. Thanks for tuning in,
Thanks for
everybody.
tuning in. We'll post the podcast on Sunday night. It'll be ready on Sunday night.
Yeah, we lied. I thought it was going to drop Friday
It'll
early.
drop on Sunday night.
All right, we'll drop it Sunday.
Okay. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.
Go Braves! Pull out the comeback.
Okay.